Okay, so this is a call for going senior Ruby. This is if you are currently a Ruby ambassador and your next rank is senior Ruby and you want to know, okay, I've gotten this far, I've gotten this many people on. You've probably done a good portion of this yourself, just because getting to senior Ruby is a lot of personal recruiting, a lot of personal level ones going silver, and you probably have some duplication. Hopefully you have a lot, but we are going to talk about just a few points on how to go senior Ruby, what it actually means, and what we can do about it. So I want to make sure I keep I'm going to get all of my notes together to make sure we are on track. Okay. So I just want to read off to you what senior Ruby looks like, what it actually means, so that we all know that we're on the same page and that you have kind of all the things in your head. So just so you know, to be senior Ruby, you have to have 5 personally sponsored ambassadors to qualify. So that means you have to have at least 5 level 1s that have $100 going through their back office, either their own personal purchase or customer purchase that month. So that if you start to stack under a husband, or just if you're real thin on personal recruiting, that starts to get really hard, because when you get to Sapphire and Diamond, it's 7. So you really want to make sure that you have 5 solid people that are promoting and recruiting and constantly working the business, because that kind of gives you like a solid 5 you never have to worry about, because they want their own paycheck every month. So you have to have 5 personally sponsored ambassadors, and then you have to have 750 Plexus pay points. And 150 of that has to come from outside of your primary leg. So you can have one person that's really, really pushing, maybe they're senior gold, maybe they're Ruby as well, but you have to have 150 points outside of that one power leg, that all equals your 750 to be able to promote to senior Ruby. And here's a couple of examples on what that could look like. Helping 12 level 1s go silver, and then helping those people get their people to silver. So duplication starts to really look, but how amazing is it to start just like putting 12 names on the board and trying to get all 12 of those people to silver. And then what's amazing is the more people that you help get to silver and you help train silver, and you start to just grow a really wide, solid team. So we're going to hear from a couple of jewels that have some really great tips, some action items, and really hear our hearts on this. We have been there. We have watched the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we really want to show you the best way to do this. We really want to be the most encouraging on how to get there, and you might feel a little hand slap. It's not personal, and it's just to kind of get you moving a little bit, right? So it's never about an individual or anything. It is always about how can we motivate you to be the very best you. And so I believe that Christy is going to go first. And so I want to welcome Christy Doss to the call.
Hey guys, can y'all hear me okay? Okay, great. You guys, I'm so excited to be here, and you guys have already made it so far, so congratulations. I'm just pumped for you guys. One of the things I wanted to talk about is team culture. And like Andrea was saying, a lot of this stuff might be just kind of a review. I mean, it's just things that, even, as a Sapphire ambassador, pushing towards Diamond, like, I feel like this is so important and just really makes a big difference in your journey. And definitely for you guys going from Ruby to senior Ruby, momentum is a big deal. And team culture can help you so much with that. I love our culture. I mean, Plexus is one Plexus. So I feel like it stems from the very top of our company, guys. So just have that in mind. I mean, we have our absolute top leaders that are encouraging this one Plexus community. And you guys being Ruby, going towards senior Ruby, I mean, it starts with you guys. You guys are our leaders. And I feel like there's so many different things that stem from the top. With this being said, shooting for senior Ruby, you lead and shape the culture of your team. So it's very easy to forget the little things. And that's one thing, plain all encouraging and being a cheerleader, you guys. There's a list of things that I wanted to kind of share with you guys. So I have 5 things I want to share. And I feel like these are very simple, but very, very important. Number one, encouraging our team to just welcome anybody new, you guys. That is a game changer. I will never forget when I was welcomed into my team, into the team page, and I got all these welcomes. Oh my goodness, you guys. That just poured fuel on the fire. I had no intention on working the business, but it was very encouraging, and it got me so excited to find out what this was all about, you guys. So really that is like the first impression, and just tell your team, say, hey, you guys, let's make sure that you are welcoming these new ambassadors, because it is a very big deal. We are different. You want them to see how different it is and how different your team is. And so that is a really big deal. Number two is like the PV shout outs, you guys. Top PV. Number three, rank up shout outs. Those are so fun. Just make sure that you're commenting on these shout outs, that you're, everyone is cheering them on, because when they see you do it, that encourages your team to do it as well. And then top enrollments, of course, and even little things. And I know you guys, y'all have made it to Ruby, but these are little things that make a really big impact for team culture. When someone makes their very first post, posting that on your team page and saying, hey, this is their first post, you guys friend them and go support their post. That is a big deal when they're first making that, that first step that is so nerve-wracking in the beginning, you guys, to really have, as a team to come together and support this first post. So that's something that we've always kind of done, and I just feel like it's been so huge for team culture, but just really coming together. And then also, when someone ranks up to silver, you guys, sending that silver, no matter where they are on your team, like sending them a message like, oh my goodness, congrats on going silver. That's a big deal. And that lights a spark in them to want to go even further, because they are being seen by you. So that is just a really, thing to remember as you're going up in rank, and even going up to, emerald and, sapphire and diamond. Just don't forget about the little things that left such a big impact on yourself. And also, I know outside of my primary jewel leg, one thing, I had a sign line, you guys, that we had several different team pages going on within our team. Like, Gold's had a team page. We had my senior Ruby had a team page. And you guys, we all came together, and we talked about it, and we're like, hey, if we all came together, this would bring back some of that momentum when people are being added. They're being added to so many different team pages within our, within our one team. So combining forces and really just focusing on loving on these people as they're being added, and not having so many different team pages, that makes a big deal also. And I found that when I did that, that was a really huge thing that happened. We kind of got our momentum back in that way. Let me get some water. Sorry, guys. And it's kind of the same way too, because if you're at a party and you don't see anything going on, you don't see any movement on the team page, then when people are added, they don't catch that excitement. They don't see what it is. So if you have a lot of action, they get excited. So they're gonna see, like, what is this going on? What, who ranked up? What does that mean? And so they get super excited, you guys. And I know a lot of this is really basic, but it really does make such a huge impact. Another thing is, I know you guys probably have like a runner thread or something like that, to where you have all of your runners together. And I mean, these are just examples that I've done with my team. You might have other ways that you're doing it, but even adding people that are, don't limit it to like your 1 through 3s. Add your 6s that are running with it, because y'all, momentum can go from those deeper levels up in a big way, and I've seen it happen. So that is another thing to consider when you're wanting to kind of spur on that momentum within your team. And right now with the incentive going on, we're doing shout outs in our thread, like who added a new ambassador, and so we're constantly like shouting out to each other. So it's really fun. I write some notes so I don't forget anything. But like I said, and to just remember that every single person on your team is so valuable. Some people aren't interested in going any further than silver, and some are happy being gold. So just love them where they're at, and just really, every single person on your team is super important. Another thing that has been really fun that we've done in the past is having things like team dinners. If you've got 1, 2, or 3 people or 10 people that are local, have a team dinner. Just meet up, and it's just amazing what can happen. And they'll invite friends, and then they'll be interested, like, oh my goodness, y'all's community is so fun. So really don't forget the little things of just getting together to have dinner. And even opportunity events, you guys, if you don't have an upline close by, that's okay. Do it. Just, step out of your comfort zone. If you haven't done an event yet, I'd highly recommend doing an event. Like my upline is not near me. And so it kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone, but it really does grow you when you do these things on your own. But like I said, you guys, those are just some little tips. We've got a lot more, Andrea and Kelly to share. But I feel like those are just some really, really basic things that can really, add a lot to team culture and bring big momentum.
I love that, Christy. Thank you so much. I think that, what is it Julia always says? Culture eats strategy for lunch. And so having a team culture, having somewhere that you feel safe and encouraged, and no matter what you're doing in your business, someone's like just on your side, and is so important. I would say one of the best things about our team is the fact that we don't ever think about levels or what team anybody's on. It's literally just like, I like you. Let's have fun. Let's do something exciting. I want to be here because this is a place where people encourage me, where people pray for me, where people are willing to love on me. And in our late 20s and 30s and 40s, that's just kind of rare to find. Just communities of women that are willing to, and some men who are willing to really just build each other up. So I think that what Christy's talking about is so vital, and we forget it because some of us get so like, if A plus B equals C, then I must continue to do A and B and get C as a result. And we forget that that's not really how this business works, that it's a whole bunch of stuff thrown in a pot. And my recipe looks different than Christy's recipe and looks different than Kelly's recipe. Everything that we've done is totally different. But culture has been a huge ingredient in it. It just looks different in the way that we do it and the way that it comes out. So I'm so excited. Okay, Kelly is going to talk to us a little bit. And it is so great to just hear different perspectives. So take notes. I've been taking notes, and you're never too successful to learn from anybody else. So I really encourage you to just jot down some things that you kind of want to circle back around to, and it's really, really important. So Kelly, take it away.
Okay, I love these calls because you get to hear from a variety of personalities. You've got Christy, who's probably a lot more yellow than me, so you're going to hear the red side of the business probably come out of me a little bit. But I want to piggyback on what Christy has said a little bit, because culture is really the first place that you start. Even before I have 3 points that I want to talk to y'all about, but I want to reiterate just the fact that is the place. Like I just to give y'all a little back end of my story, if y'all don't know, my team fell apart when I was Ruby. I'm talking like apart. Like I was well on my way to Emerald and just kind of fell apart. And I had to just really reorganize, and it was in December and January, which we all know are the slower months. And I had to sit there and say, okay, I've lost my strongest leg. What am I going to do? And I reorganized by going back to culture. Like it was putting together threads and like generating conversation of people that's outside of Plexus and just developing those. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm living the single mom life. It's baseball season, so you have to forgive me. And it's spring break on top of that. So forgive me. But so we did that through culture. Like we rebuilt, and then I went Emerald 4 months later. So I just want to tell y'all that what she is saying is so crucial before we even get to the points that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about was the speed of the leader. That's the first point. Y'all have heard this before, but I want to tell you, so you're at Ruby about to go senior Ruby. What is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to get Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond, right? Okay, you want to take your team there because that momentum is so good for your team. Like it is good for them to see you do that and for them to be a part of that because it helps them envision where they are going. Okay. So it's really easy when you get to Ruby and to senior Ruby to get into management mode. I did it. One of the reasons I think my team fell apart, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I got into management mode because my team grew really fast. And so I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm supposed to manage all these people. And I was my power recruiter for the longest time. I lost sight of that. And I got to be in management mode. Your team needs to see you doing what you want them to do. Point blank. And the goal is to get to Jewel. The goal is to get to Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond, to go the whole way, to take your team there. Because let me remind y'all, this is not about you. It's not, we all know this. The yellow's going to come out in me here. This is not about just increasing your own paycheck for your family. You have a whole lot of people under you that have a whole lot of why. Okay? And we need to remember that. Like, that's when we get into management mode, we need to go back to that place of going, you know what? They're looking at me. They're looking at me on how to grow a team. They're looking at me on how to be a leader. And I've got to remember why they're doing this and show them what to do. Show them how to build a solid business that's not just about managing people. It's about growing a team of people that matter. That's it, because you're setting that example for them. So the speed of the leader is going to matter. Like, what you're doing is what they're going to emulate. I remember I would look around in times that I wanted to take a step back, and I would look to my leaders and say, what are they doing? See, I mean, I'm just going to be completely upfront with you. I would let them say, are they posting? Are they adding? And if they weren't, that would be my excuse for myself. So, okay, my kids, stop. Sorry, y'all. That's the thing is, like, you need to be showing them what you want them to do, not telling them what you want to do. My father, he speaks on a daily basis, and he always talks about the quote that says, preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words. Show them what you want them to do. You need to be actively recruiting every single day. You need to be working your IPA and not just running IPA challenges, not just running silver and 7 challenges. You need to be showing them how to go silver every single month. And you need to be announcing, and that's part of that team culture that Christy talked about, announcing those people and bringing them into that team culture and saying, okay, I'm not just telling you to start 3-way messages. I'm doing that with my people too. I'm showing you what I want you to do and how to build a solid business. You are the leader. And taking on that leadership mindset that you have people who are following you towards their freedom, towards their why, remembering that. So you need to be remembering when you're posting. And I've gone through periods, guys, where I'm going to be honest with you, I have taken a step back. And we've had a really hectic last year and a half in our family. And I've let life get to me, and I've watched my team follow me. And when you're at Ruby and Senior Ruby, you're paving the way for that dual business that you're building. Okay. Is this bothering y'all? And this is like Plexus Freedom, but it's also, I mean, there's a lot going on with Jasmine and wet hair, and I mean, lots of stuff going on here. So just remember that. Remember, like, when you're posting, remembering when you're messaging, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your team. And go back to not just your why. I'm going to reiterate that a couple of times. Don't just go back to your why, go back to their why. And go back to the team culture. If you don't know your team's why, I suggest that you get in contact with your leaders. I suggest you get in contact with them and say, hey, where are you at? Let's talk. If you can't have coffee, get together on a Zoom and have coffee. Say, Micah May, please stop. Get together on a coffee and have Zoom and say, let's talk about where you're going. Let's talk about your team's why. Dig deep down. Christy said that it's not just your 1 through 3s. You can develop momentum. I've done coaching calls over the last month with people that are 5s and 6s. And it's developed momentum because that momentum can push their leaders to work harder. So get to know your people and get to know why they're doing it. Okay, so my second point is you need to start pushing now. Okay? You have a goal. Realize that your goal, if your first goal is to get to Senior Ruby and then Emerald, y'all, I want to tell y'all this. Like, I stayed at Ruby for a while. I stayed at Ruby for 6 months, and then I went Senior Ruby in May, and then I went Emerald in July. So it can happen. Your business can boom overnight, and you need to be working to prepare for that to happen with the hopeful expectation that that's going to happen. So what you need to be doing to lay the groundwork for that is you need to be pushing now for Emerald. What do I mean by that? I mean looking at your back office every single week at the people that are under $100. You need to be working with your team on developing really good customer care, okay? And not waiting for your time to rank up to reach out to these people that are not commission qualified every month. I want to remind y'all, okay, we are in the business of people, not points, yes. And how do we do that? We focus on the people. We focus on getting them on the regimen that they wanted to be on, or that they need to be on to reach their goals. You work with your leaders on reestablishing what their customers and their wholesale customers' goals are. Remind them of those goals. This needs to be an every week portion of your business. Okay? This is not just waiting for rank up time, because that's when people become points and they're not people. That's when they become important to you to rank up. And that's what makes this business nasty. That's what makes this business get a bad reputation, is when people start going, well, they just want me to do this so that they can rank up. Okay, no. You need to remember that we are in the customer service, the people service business, and serving those people every single month. So y'all need to be on top of that and helping your people get on top of that, because they are going to do what you do. Okay? You need to be reaching out to them on a weekly basis, your runners, your people that are business building, and say, hey, let's work on getting this person. Is a person's goal weight loss? Okay, they're only on Slim. What can we do? We need to get them on Meta, Burn, and Block. We need to remind them of what their goals are. Teach them how to have those conversations. Say, hey, Sally, just checking back in with you. I wanted to, just talk about how you're doing on your Slim. I know that, weight loss was your goal. Are you meeting your goals? Okay, no, you're not. Let's talk about adding to your program. We have some amazing new products out right now. We have amazing products, guys, like life-changing products, and we need to be introducing those to people. And a lot of times, because we get really caught up in the business management mode, we think people pay attention to team pages. They do not. Okay, wholesale customers a lot of times don't pay attention. The rare jewels do. They really do, because they're like paying attention to what's going on. But the normal people have too much going on to look at all those notifications. So we can't take that for granted. We have to reach out and personally connect with these people and remind them what their goals are, remind them of the products that are out, remind them of the deal. I'm sorry, y'all. She has never been so loud. Remind them of the deals that are going on, and tell them how to reach the goals that they had initially had when they joined you. When they joined the people that they trusted on their health journey, remind them of what those goals are. But we have to be doing it on a weekly basis. Your push to Emerald needs to start now. Okay? You need to be preparing for Senior Ruby and then Emerald to go right on the heels of that. How do you do that? It's customer service. It is customer service. Teaching your people to do that every single week. Education on products. You need to be using your team pages to educate people on the products. Educate people on what's going on with the incentives. You may have, look at the explosive growth that's happening on people's teams because of a darn iPad. Okay? People want an iPad, but they need to know what's going on. Don't take wholesale customers for granted. Reach out to them and say, hey, I know that you don't want to work this business, but I know you got 6 friends because you can get a free iPad. Teach your people how to do that. Your team pages are not just a place to slop up a post every single day to check a box. You are educating a team on how to grow a business. You are educating a team on how to get consistent on products. You have a whole lot of people under you, and you need to use that team page as the resource that it is. People on the products, on the business side, you need to be doing that. You are looking at a whole lot of people with a whole lot of different goals, and you need to be feeding each of those people, okay? All right, so the third step that I have is invest in your business. Do not wait for your upline to run promotions. Do not wait for your upline to give free shipping. You're at a place in your business you need to be investing in your business every single month, because you are setting an example for the people under you. Do I think you need to buy points? Absolutely not. But I do think you need to be investing in your team and in your business. You have to remember you have a larger goal, okay? You're not just buying points here, but you have a larger goal. Sometimes people are incentivized by the extra $5 for shipping to maybe get over to order that meta burn to get on their goal, like to get on the track to meet their goal. You have to remember that you're in the people business, but you're also training a team to reach their why. Don't forget that. You are training a team and a group of people to reach freedom that they are all working for. You need to invest in your business. You can do this a lot of times by investing in the people, just little incentives along the way to keep excitement. Go back to what Christy talked to you about, to keep team culture exciting. Run fun contests. Run fun little incentives like flash contests to keep your people excited to be on that team page, to see what's going on, and to be a part of something exciting. You are setting an example. You are leaders. And think about what y'all have done to get to where you are. It's incredible. It is exciting. You are creating a team of other leaders, and they're watching you. So just remember that. Invest in your business. It is never a bad investment. It is not, I promise you. So just remember to do that. Don't wait for other people to do it. Do it yourself. Create the excitement, create the momentum. I'm telling y'all, action follows momentum. It does. Like once you can kind of create that momentum, people get excited and people get moving even faster. So be sure to be doing that, investing in your business. Recruit yourself. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. It's the whole thing about when people say that the leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Be sure that you're doing that with your team, and be sure that you're doing that push to emerald, to sapphire, to diamond every single week, because your team will follow behind you. All right. That's it, Andrea.
So much information. Like I love like just going, okay, nugget, and like capturing it. And I am recording it, and so you can go back and hear so much. And y'all, she actually reminded me. I went back to find pictures of who all ranked up the month that I went Ruby and Senior Ruby in the same month. But let me tell you why. Because the month before, we added a massive amount of people. Because every month it was always, what's the next month's goal? It was never like sitting at Ruby wasn't, okay, now how do I get to Senior Ruby? It was, okay, how many people do I need to get to Emerald? And when you're focused on a goal ahead of the one that's just, because if you're focused on Emerald, then Senior Ruby comes, right? If you're focused on, Senior Ruby, then Ruby comes when you're sitting at Senior Gold. If you're always focusing way ahead. So I looked, the month that I went Ruby and Senior Ruby, our team added 168 ambassadors that month. We started April with 565 ambassadors. And that month, the month that I went Emerald, we added 335. So do y'all see the difference between adding 168 the month I went Ruby and Senior Ruby and adding 335 the month we went Emerald? And I say that because that's, as you know now, as you're sitting in this position, you realize that that's not me. That's not because of something I did. I certainly did not recruit 335 people. That was a massive amount of people. And what I was looking up as Kelly was talking was who all ranked up that month. Like the leaders that y'all know. What's funny is Julia wasn't even on our team. I was still blocked on Facebook. So if you're on Julia's team, just know that she had me blocked on Facebook when all that was happening. But it was really like, tons of people going silver, tons and tons and tons. And when I look back, and I'm going to go find it tonight, I'm going to look and see how many silver announcements we had the month that we went Ruby and Senior Ruby, and how many gold announcements we had, and how many senior gold announcements we had, because that's what got us to the next rank. Wasn't me doing anything in my own power. It was me encouraging a bunch of other people. Ellen, hit your goal so you can quit your job. Becky, hit your goal so that you can sell your practice. And Sarah, hit your goal so that you can, survive as a single mom. She didn't even know was coming around the corner. Every single person that had signed up already, I was like, okay, let's hit your goal. If we hit all of their goals, my goal was going to happen. Like that wasn't even a question. So I love when Kelly's like, it's not about numbers, it's about people. You help the people on your team hit their goals, and I promise you that your goals will come. The problem is when we have a bunch of people on our team who have no goals. They just want to take the products. They're not really interested. And that's a matter of casting vision and recruiting new people. So I'm really going to talk about the basics, but I do want to go back and talk about 3 points, the 3 points that Kelly made. And I just want to share some thoughts that I wrote down. And so the first one is leaders should shout out what their leaders do, the things that they're doing, so that their teams can see that they're doing it. So if you are a Ruby ambassador and you have a gold or a senior gold, or someone goes silver on your team, but what you see them doing is activity. You see them doing IPA. You see them finishing their IPA for the day. You see them doing hey, so-and-so started a 3-way message. I'm so excited. Hey, y'all can kind of see in the background, I had these Post-it notes on my door. Hey, Andrea got halfway to her iPad. So excited. So-and-so sent out their first cold message ever. They were terrified. Let's give her a shout out. When you see people doing the hard things, people are like, okay, if she's doing it, I'll do it too. Like, leaders should shout out other leaders on their teams, because you're never going to promote yourself, right? You're never going to go, hey, guess what I did today? Because it's really hard for us to do that. But if you will tell someone else, hey, do you mind? I did something really amazing with my business today, and I'd love for someone to shout it out. Do you mind going to your upline and saying, will you do a shout out on my page about how hard I'm working? So my team sees that I'm not just saying it, I'm doing it as well. Second thing what I talked about was pushing for Emerald. So who on your team needs to rank up this month? Who's close to silver? Who's close to super silver? Who's close to gold? Who's close to senior gold? Those are the things you need to know. And y'all, it's not about being like uber close right now. It's the 18th of the month. It's about how many 199 packs do they need before the end of the month? How many people need to go for the iPad and they can rank up? If that person, or the brand new person that started 2 days ago, they've got 12 days left to get 3 people 199 packs, and they get an extra $100. Like, do you know how the Fast Start program works? Do you know how Super Silver works right now? And are you encouraging people to maximize the most amount of money they can get out of this month? It's insane. Okay, and then number 3, when she talks about investing in your business, think about your check, and then think about investing just 1 to 5% of your check back into your business. Like, just take that number. Like, what would that look like? Would that look like sample packs? Would that look like, I have back here, a barefoot dreams blanket? Would it look like what could it look like that would maybe encourage or incentivize your team? And get with your spouse or your business partner or, someone who's really wise in money and say, how much should I be investing back in? I promise you, there is not a business out there that puts 1 to 5% of their income, their revenue, back into the business and sees the return on investment that we can see in this business. Could you imagine going senior Ruby by just putting 5% of your Ruby check back in a month? Like, what a huge return on investment. Okay, so those are the 3 points that Kelly said and just some thoughts I had on them. Okay, here's something I really want to challenge y'all with. There's an entire section of our virtual office called Rank Up Roadmap. If you have not gone through it, I really challenge you, but hear me on this. I challenge you where the first thing we're going to talk about is focusing where your time counts. So I'm not going to ask you to go spend 3 hours in this tomorrow or even 30 minutes if you don't have it. I'm going to ask you that when you are doing your self-development and your personal growth, that you go into Rank Up Roadmap and you try to find something that you can read. And these are quick documents, y'all. They are 1 or 2 page documents. So they're real, real fast. But I'm actually going to run through them because I'm going to work smarter, not harder. And I'm actually going to tell you the things that are back here and some thoughts that I have on them. So the first thing is, where do you focus your time? If you are, say you're honestly working 2 to 3 hours a day on Plexus, and some of y'all can and some of you can't at this point, but say you're working 3 hours a day on Plexus, an hour and a half of that should be 100% focused on your personal business. That's essentially an iPad right now, right? Like, you're essentially just focusing on, for me, it'd be just these names or adding more Post-it notes to this list or, saying happy birthday to people or whatever, re-engaging, having back and forth volleying conversations, send, share, and invite. That is all an hour and a half of my day. If I'm only dedicating 3 hours of my day to Plexus, you figure out what your hours really look like. So if you are not going for the iPad right now, the only way you can fail this incentive is by not trying. If you get halfway there, you've still gone silver for the month, right? Like, you've still done something huge. If you get 3/4 of the way there, which I don't know what that would be. If you get somewhere between 4 and 5, I'm just saying, you get more, you're going more than silver, right? So don't feel like I didn't get 6, I failed. If you get 2, 3, 4, 5, you've succeeded this month because you've really put yourself probably outside of your normal comfort zone. And you've shown your team what it takes to get there, and you've started some conversations, and you've grown your customer base probably. In the next month, when some new fun incentives come out, which I literally just got off the phone with Jesse Nelson at corporate right before this call, he was telling me all this stuff he's going to run by Alec tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, what? Oh my God. And he's like cutting out because they're in an Indian reservation. Y'all, I'm dying on what he's already telling me about next month. So I have to call him back when he actually has better reception so I can hear all the details of what he was saying. But y'all, there's bigger and bigger every month. So whatever you do this month is just leading up to next month, right? And our company is doing exactly what we're asking them to do. Grow every month to just piggyback on the last one. Then all of our efforts are constantly being rewarded because you didn't get double points last month. Great. All the people that you had in the queue last month are now helping out with the iPad. You don't hit the iPad this month. That's okay. You've talked to 200 people this month. Guess what? Next month, I'm not telling you, it will become a reward, but you have to continue to do that work. And we've talked a lot about the 60 and 90-day rule. What you do right now will probably not show up for 60 to 90 days. But what you did in January and in December, and let's be really honest, what you did back in August when everyone was pushing like crazy for Leaders Retreat, is showing up in so much of the things that we've done in the last 3 or 4 months. Have you noticed that? Those people that you talk to that maybe you just started conversations with have started showing up in your back office. Okay, so 50% of your time is building your business, 25% of your time. So whatever 25% of 3 hours is, I probably should have figured that out. What is that, 45 minutes? Anybody? All of y'all blank staring at me, which makes me feel so much better. 20 minutes? 40 minutes. Jennifer's trying to give me math by sign language, which is like, okay, so we're thinking somewhere between 40 and 45 minutes. Prayer and personal growth. Praying over your team, y'all. Francesca Fields, who's added, I think, 21 level 1s already this month, said she goes in her back office and she prays over her team. And before she sends out a message, she prays over those people. And she goes through Facebook and she just really asks the Lord's guidance on who needs this and who should she really be talking to and what should her heart be like what condition of her heart and what should the condition of her heart be before she has some of these messages. So I really want to challenge you to prayer and personal growth. Personal growth may be reading, it may be listening to something. If you need a Christian-based book on growing a business and goals, let me know. I have them, but I can't think of the name. All of a sudden, it talks about the lion's mane. By the lion, no, maybe Aslan. We've been reading a lot of C.S. Lewis. But I will get you all that book. But also, I mean, the Rachel Hollis books are great. I don't think that they're of biblical proportions, but I think they're good for encouraging you and for kind of giving you a kick in the butt. So do whatever it takes for you. But y'all, 40 to 45 minutes a day, not like 3 hours of just like really getting your mindset. Like, quick, let's do this. Let's listen to a book maybe while we're taking a walk or while we're working out, or in the car. And then when you're sitting at your desk, you can actually work on your business. And then 25%. So 50% building your business, 25% building yourself, and 25% building your team. Who totally has that screwed up and is totally spending 50% of their day building their team? Because I do. I would rather pour into y'all all day long than ever reach out and ever add another level 1. Like, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need any level 1s. I will just love on my team all day long. But y'all, I have to get that iPad this month. It matters to me because I think it's important to my team that I do the same thing y'all are doing, no matter what level or how many points I have. It really does matter. So building your team is everything that Chrissy talked about. I started writing down her points in the column and then ran out of room. So I've got to go back and listen to the recording and rewrite my list on exactly what building my team for my 25% a day looks like. But it is team pages. It is encouragement. It is reminding them, y'all, team pages are encouragement and research. Every single day I have to decline a post because there are tons of posts already up about that subject and they haven't even used the keyword search. I really, really think it's important that our teams utilize all of these pages, from Destination Diamond Dream Team, which is Celeste and Jen Hawkins' page, to Roz's page, to my page. Y'all, some of y'all have like 40 jewel pages above you could go to, but they're great for research. They're great for finding a testimonial. They're great for validating a point. And so you don't have to be engaged in them so much as utilizing them for just a research piece. It's kind of like the library. You don't mess with the whole library, but you have it accessible so that you can go in and find what you need and get back out. You're not going to go through and just, sit in the library all day long and see what new books show up. I also think that doing a book study with your team is really important. So if you find a book that you would really like to do with your team, I think that's important. Okay. Whew, okay, 15 minutes, because this one's going for an hour. Sorry, but going to Senior Ruby isn't going to happen in 30 minutes. Okay, next is continuing to personally sponsor y'all 3 people every single month, but then helping those people go get their 3 people. If you stop at just getting your own, you've missed a big portion of the duplication. So 50% is working your own business, but then did you notice that you can only do so much yourself. You can only add so many people. You need to go in and inspire people to duplicate, to do the same thing you just did. And some of that is working with them on 3-way calls, on 3-way messages, on vision casting. We'll talk about that. Creating runners. I love that this is literally like, keep momentum strong by continuing to personally sponsor, which we all get, right? Like that's no brainer. Create runners. And I literally wrote out next to it, like, what the heck? Like everybody wants to know how to create runners, right? Like that's kind of like the secret. That's kind of like the like the stone nobody can get to. I obviously watch too many Marvel movies. But it is a known fact that 9 out of 10 times runners are not found, they are created. So in case you don't know, I was never going to be a runner. I was just an overshare. My bangs are driving me nuts. I was just going to be an oversharer. I had sucked at network marketing in the past. I could not grow a team to save my life in 2 other businesses. I added, a few people, but just no one did anything. I had no idea how to duplicate it. The only way I developed any runners is because I did not stop sharing. And so they thought that's what I do. Like Ellen Ford signed up 1 month after I signed up. And she said, I just did whatever you did. If you ask Julia what she did, she'll tell you, I just did whatever Andrea and Angie and Ellen did. Like, I didn't know what else to do. Like, I didn't know what post to make, so I just posted whatever they posted. I didn't know what to put on my team page. I just put on my team page whatever they put on their team page. I didn't know what to say to people to answer this question. So I'd ask them, they'd tell me, I'd copy and paste it to someone. Are you developing people because they see you doing something that they feel is achievable and doable? So I truly believe that this is the hardest part of going from Ruby to Senior Ruby and then to Emerald, Sapphire, and Diamond is actually creating runners. But you only do it by showing them what you're doing, by telling them what you're saying, by training them alongside them, not to them. But y'all, my very first training, if you've ever heard me talk about it, was literally, I think I was gold or senior gold, and Amber Volbada was silver. I had her host it. And Lindsay Carricker was silver. I had her explain how to do graphics and welcome people. It was 3 hours long. It was terribly painful for everyone involved. It was awful, but I trained with all my people that were doing it. Hey, you're really good at this. You train on that. Hey, you're really good at this. You train on that. I'm only good at, oversharing. So I'll train on that. And we all train on our strengths. And y'all, that has continued for 5 years in my business. I will always have someone else train on their strengths. And I never feel like I have to be the strongest person.
Andrea, can I add into something that you're saying? I hate to throw you off of your train of thought, so tell me to shut up. I need to. What you're saying about like developing leaders, I think is so important, guys. It goes back again to team culture with what Christy was saying too. And I take this one person in particular, and I'm going to give you this example. I have a girl who has hung in. She has been so faithful. I mean, y'all know we've been through some rough times in the last year and a half. I'll say it. But she's hung in there. She's been faithful to her IPA. She's been faithful to the people who she had no one working the business. She was just gold, just hanging in there. And she now has a couple of runners that has just happened almost overnight. Okay. So she's about to hit senior gold, and then Ruby's like right behind it, because she has been faithful. But let me tell y'all, this is where I'm going with this, and with what Andrea, to piggyback on what Andrea was saying, is how do you do that? How do you keep those people hanging in the moments where they're tough and they're discouraged? It's relationship. It is relationship. A lot of times you're going to see people hang in there with the products and with the business when they're discouraged, when they want to give up, but they're going to keep in because of the relationship they have with you. And because not only the relationship with you, but what they see you doing on top of that in the moments, even when you're discouraged, but that relationship is going to keep going. That's where the people, not the points, come into play. Keeping that awesome team culture and just keeping them encouraged, even when maybe you don't feel encouraged. Okay. Because you never know when their moment to pop is going to happen. Like when their moment to like have their business just blow up overnight is going to happen. Sorry, Andrea.
No, I think that's great. I think it's important to remember that we're pouring into people. And my Sunday school teacher asks me all the time, I'll get real frustrated, y'all. And in fact, I'll be really vulnerable. And when Julia passed me in points, and our Sunday school teacher knows Julia because that's where we met. And I said, Julia passed me in points. And I'm so excited because I sat there and cried with her on her couch, in Dallas when they were out of money and when Jared had to move to Mobile and all these things. So I want success for her, but I'm really struggling with my own stuff. And she said, why did you get into this? And I said, because I wanted to help people with the products and then eventually with the business. And she said, the people. Always go back to the people. Never, ever care about, and for us, we say points, but she's just saying never care about the paycheck. God will take care of your paycheck and what it's supposed to look like in his will. But you love on his people. And I was like, okay. And so y'all, I have to remember all the time when I get comparative or when I get discouraged, that I'm like, okay, but Ellen got to quit her job and Julia got to buy groceries, and not ask for money. And Becky got to be home when Russ had his stroke. And my sister has been, fully functioning, stay at home single mom for the last 4 years. Like, okay, what I'm doing matters bigger than what my paycheck ever looks like. You have to have that reminder of whose you are, but then also like who's in control of your paycheck, but that you have control over how you treat people. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. And keeping momentum strong, personally sponsoring. Can we say that enough? Because I'm pretty sure that that gets honed in. But if you are not sponsoring 3 people a month, I want to challenge you. Do not pour into your team until you are sponsoring your 3 people a month, until you have people on the fence, you have conversations that are happening, because you are lying to your team about what is necessary for them to grow if you are not doing those things. And y'all preaching to the choir, because it's so easy to manage my team. So easy. I have an incredible team. How much fun is this? But if I am not adding, my level ones will call me out. I have very good friends that are level ones that will message me and go, hey, so I saw that list go up and you weren't on it. I'm like, yeah, I saw that too. So I always make sure I put myself on my leaderboard list so that my team knows where I fall in the leadership, whether it's PV or whether it's recruiting or anything. Okay. Whew. I want to make sure I read some of the things to you that I highlighted. Daily income producing activities are key to help both you and your new ambassadors feel accountable to work, lead, and produce positive results for their business. So you have to show them how to do IPA. And I really do believe the best way to do that is power hours or power half hours, but actually walking through IPA with them, telling them what you're saying, telling them the responses that you're getting, telling them how you're troubleshooting, I think is really important. Make sure all new ambassadors have the support and resources they need to start their Plexus journey with a solid foundation. Are you walking them through virtual office? Even if they're a wholesale ambassador, if you walk them through with a screen share on Zoom like this, that your back office, you can easily go, oh, this is where you find this, and this is where you find this, because you are an ambassador, so you can go in and change your order, and here's where you would find your commission summary if you share with anybody. Oh, well, that's my commission summary. I mean, that's just like a glance at what it could be, and then you keep going, and they're like, whoa, did I just see a couple of $100 or $1,200 or $3,000 as your commission summary for last month? And you're like, yeah, it's kind of pocket change. It's kind of fun, isn't it? And keep going. Do you show them where to find videos? Elizabeth Grieve is on here, and her upline pretty much said, here's a bunch of videos. And then she went and found a bunch more videos. And that's pretty much how she trained herself to get to Ruby, is through like soaking in videos. Does your team know where to find those? And resources. There's so many resources in back office, y'all. This rank up roadmap really is full of resources. And then focusing on corporate incentives, iPads, just so you know, already this month on the 18th is a record-breaking month in recruiting in the company ever. Because of iPads, y'all. And we've been telling them, because we did this 4 years ago. We're like, if you bring back the iPads, have y'all not seen it? It's been insane. And what is so much fun for me is watching leaders get their iPads, because it's so fun to watch people who have grown a business and have the ability to sit back and just watch the checks come in, get out there and put feet to the ground and actually doing this. Inspire your team to envision their Plexus journey. I really want to challenge you to that when you're doing your 25% of business building or like personal growth, I want you to go search the words vision casting, and I want you to really plug into what vision casting looks like. Do you vision cast for your team? Do you show them what's possible? Do you give them just small nuggets? Y'all, not my check. My check is stupid. Don't show people my check. They're going to think that's the dumbest thing they've ever seen. Show them someone covering their groceries, their mortgage, their car payment, their private school, their summer camp, summer daycare if they're a full-time working mom. I mean, just covering the full-time daycare over the summer is huge. So do you show them that? Do you show them what's possible? Do you have a vision board? It doesn't have to be anything special. It might just be one thing. Like, this is just my one thing. Putting it up on your computer, putting it up on your mirror in your bathroom. Like, it might just be a bill, y'all. It's my water bill. But it could just be a bill, a credit card bill that you put up and you're like, this Plexus is going to chip away at this. I'm just going to chip away every month, and I'm going to put it right up in front of me. And then we've talked about it too. What is your team's goals? It might be your level 5. What's their goal? What are they working for right now? Are they working for an iPad, or are they really working for an iPad and $800 to go to convention? Because there's no way they can go to convention without that travel voucher. And so what they really want is that travel voucher. What'll be fun is if you say, okay, well, you recruit 18 people. Let's talk about what those building bonuses look like. Let's talk about what those points look like. Let's talk about what that could look like for rank advancements. And you start adding up all that money out above and beyond the $800 travel voucher. And that really gives them some vision of what they're really, really working for, right? Other than just an iPad and some travel vouchers that are kind of, imaginary at this point. Put some numbers to those. Okay. This is my favorite part. We got 5 minutes left. Road mapping and goal setting. So you want to give them sustainable vision. Have them write down their weekly and monthly goals, which is really great right now. We still have a couple of weeks left. We definitely have daily goals we can establish. I have people tell me all the time, by this day, I'm going to have 4 ambassadors for the month. By this day, I'm going to have 5. And then by this day, I want 6, because just in case any of those 3 don't work out, I want to have a full week to make sure I've got that one person or that second person kind of in the queue. So what is your date that you will not go past to get your 6 people or your 12 people or your 18 people, whatever you're going for this month. Also think that's really important when you're ranking up, is having your goal not be the very last darn second of the month, but figure out, like, where do I need to be by the 15th of the month? Where am I usually, and where would it be great to be? We have someone pushing this month, and she's like, okay, I'm 100 points of where I usually am on this day, and all of my leaders have commission qualified, so I know I'm truly ahead of points right now. But really monitoring it and going, she's like, okay, well, we fell behind. I'm like, okay, well, let's really talk about 199 packs, because your team's adding a ton of people. Are they adding 199 packs? And all those points count. So it's constantly monitoring it all month long, not waiting until the 28th just to see who commission qualifies. Then maybe we'll do something the last 3 days. Follow up to see how they're doing on their goals. Once you can write them down too. Like, I could literally write down Kelly's goals, and by this date she wants to be here. This is her monthly goal, and for ranking up the next time, this is where she wants to be. For convention, this is what she wants her lanyard to be. And then I'm constantly checking and going, okay, so where do we look like on these goals, and where do we need to readjust our activity so it matches what your goals are? Limiting frustrations is really big on our team. So y'all, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it twice. Don't be frustrated at your team members. Do not get frustrated at the people on your team. Figure out what motivates them and motivate them. Like, that's it. You don't get to be frustrated with them. They get to come in and do whatever the heck they want to do. They want to go silver? Great. They want to stop there? That sucks. Let's go find somebody else that wants to go gold. But y'all, you cannot get frustrated with them. They did not come in to support your, shoe habit. They literally came in for themselves. You need to go find people that want to grow bigger and, huge and pour into those people. But don't get mad at people. Like, I can't imagine if Rosalind had gotten mad at me and said, golly, I really needed to go diamond and, in March instead of May. Like, could you not have sped this up a little bit? For the love. What I did is every month ask Rosalind how close she was to her goal, because one of my biggest goals was making sure that she hit hers. So that's what was fun, is when your downline actually is interested in where your goals are, because you're so interested in where their goals are. Do IPA with them. Maybe it's one person and you say, girl, 30 minutes tomorrow, let's do IPA together. Let's get this busted out. Let's get your 6 people done. I'm going to do IPA with you once a week from now until the end of the month. We're going to get your 6 people covered. I know exactly what to say. You're going to tell me about Amy, and I'm going to help you devise what to say. And you're going to tell me about Beth, and I'm going to help you write what to say. And you're going to tell me about Claire. Amy wrote you back. She wrote you this. Okay, this is what we're going to say back to her. And you literally walk them through the messages. And when you handhold them like that, next month, when Amy's sister messages them, they already know the answer because you told them while they were sitting there. Okay, last page. Be your own runner. Lead by example. Stay present and involved with your team pages. Reach out to your team and check in on their goals and congratulate them on accomplishments. And that may not be customers and ads. It may just be productivity. It may just be congratulations on staying up an hour later than you're ever comfortable staying up and getting it done, because I know that was hard. Or congratulations on finishing that book. Or congratulations on just having coffee with someone and talking about this in person. That's hard. Okay, last point. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, which is a book by John Maxwell. Challenge your team to focus on personal development and build leadership skills. Create team competitions and contests that increase their drive to achieve their business goals, which we talked about when Kelly was talking about it. Even when Christy was talking, we talked about just encouraging and motivating people. Review John Maxwell's Law of the Lid, because there's a really good chance that you've hit your lid and you've got to grow it bigger, or you're never going to move past the rank you are right now. And then share positive quotes, empowering leadership books, and encouragement with your team. This not only inspires them to succeed, but also give you an added boost. It's really important to do motivational things together. I just wrote a last point. Now I'm going to remember what it was. Y'all, it's about you adding new people, but then it's also about those people catching the vision that you have cast for them so that they want to go add new people. I would love, and we are at time, so if you need to jump off, and we have definitely taken up your time, but if you have a question that you would like to ask one of us, and I don't know how long Christy and Kelly can stay on, but if you have a question you'd like to ask one of us, this is your time, and this is your opportunity. Nothing's off the table. And if it's a story that you need to do a lot of background with, that might be better in a message than here for everyone to kind of sit through. Sometimes we want to go, okay, well, I have this girl and I need to but if you have a short and quick, how do I deal with this? I would love to hear any questions, or how do I do whatever it is. Anybody want to unmute and ask me anything, or Kelly or Christy, and we are here. Ask us. No question is stupid. I'm sure I've asked it at some point.
Okay, I have one.
Go.
How do you deal with those people that will only order a bag of Slim?
Well, what are their goals? I think you go back to, do they have goals? Do they feel like other products are going to help their goals? And at some point, you just have to let it go. So you ask them their goals. They say weight loss. You ask them how it's going. They go, eh. You go, what about adding MetaBurn? And they go, I don't really want to. And you go, I have 2 options for you. You can add a new product that can potentially really help your productivity and really help this along, or you can stay on Slim, and you're probably going to get frustrated over it after a certain period of time. And I really want to help you keep from getting frustrated. So I really encourage you to try MetaBurn for 60 days, or Accelerator, or Boost, or ProBio 5, Ease. And and just get them to love one other product other than Slim. I really do think going back into what is their goal, how can you help them reach their goal better? But honestly, if they kick back and they just want to order Slim, you just have to go, hey, idiot. So I quietly say it, and then just let them go, because fighting those people and getting locked into that is such a waste of your hours of the day. You only have so many, which we've talked about, and it's just that percentage is clicking away. The more you deal with people that don't really want help, they just want to complain.
Jennifer, I will tell you, I don't know if you've seen this video that came out, I think it was last year. It was Brooke Hemingway put out a video, and I stick to it, tried and true now, where when I have someone that inquires about products, and this is what I think you need to train your teams on, because we can be reactive, but that needs to be a small portion of our time, and we need to be proactive, which needs to be a bigger portion of our time. And that's training our teams how to avoid this problem. But we all have this problem. We all have the problem of the people that are under $100. Okay. So let's talk about the proactive first. And that is training our people that when someone says, I'm interested in the products, that we don't shy away from the cost, that we say we have these amazing $199 welcome packs. And we give them, okay, what are your health goals? My health goals are weight loss. Okay, well, let's talk about all the things that are going to help you reach your weight loss goals. We present those to them. We don't assume that they can't pay for it, because it's kind of like, I know y'all probably heard this analogy before, but when you go shopping, think about when you go shopping. Like, you go in the mindset of, okay, I need an outfit for tonight. I want to look the best. I'm going on a date with my husband. So I'm going to go buy a dress. Okay, but I get up to the counter and they've got this amazing belt or this amazing purse. I'm going to spend a little bit more because I have an ultimate goal in mind. Okay, so that when we talk to people about what their health goals are, that's to get this conversation moving. Okay, so you're going to say, what are your health goals? Weight loss. We have an amazing weight loss package. And then you walk through the package and you said, this is how all of these things are going to help you reach your weight loss goals. At the end of the conversation, if they say, I don't want to spend that extra money, okay, fine, but you've presented those options to them. And here's why that's important, because when they back down off of BioCleanse or probiotic to just Slim, and they say, I'm not reaching my weight loss goals, you can say to them, hey, remember when we talked about block and metaburn? Or block, metaburn, and lean, and how I thought those are really going to accelerate your goal, like accelerate your process to reach your weight loss goals of 20 pounds. Let's go back to that. Let's add on lean and metaburn here, so that you're not coming in like a dirty car salesman and say, oh, wait a second, all that didn't work. Let's try to add this on later. That's a part of the natural, like, for organic progression of that conversation. So you need to be training your teams to be pushing that $199 welcome pack. There's a reason for that. It's not only good for your business, it's good for that process, so that when they back down off those other products that may not be working for them, it's an organic conversation to go, hey, let's go back to, remember when we talked about this? And then they go, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. You know, maybe BioCleanse wasn't working. Let's now try lean and metaburn. That's a natural progression of that conversation. But going back to what Andrea said, like those under 100 people that we all inevitably have, it is important, kind of like that point that I gave y'all, to building that stable business and teaching your people to do that. You have to remind them. I always tell my team this. You have to remind them of what their goals were. That's why that first conversation is so important. You say, hey, you wanted to lose weight. We have a brand new product that's going to help you get there. Let's try it. And you go in and you assume the sale. Y'all, this is where mindset happens. And Francesca, if y'all haven't watched her video that she says, you assume that sale. You don't say, hey, what do you think about this? Let's talk about it. No, you say, this is going to help you. Let's add it onto your regimen. They trusted you to begin with. Go on that trust. Go on that trust. They joined you and not someone else because they trusted you. You move forward with confidence, and you teach your people to move forward with confidence and to remind those people what their goals were.
I love that. And I love when Kelly starts going, I'm like, woo, going to church. She's like, let me tell you it's going to be.
It's the red. I warned y'all. I warned you.
I learned when we were on a retreat a couple of weeks ago that I'm red and I'm not blue. Becky's like, you're absolutely red. I was like, oh. She's like, you're just a nice red, but everything you do is about the end. the end game of the business. It's never just about the fun. You want to have fun, but you want the business to work at all times.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? We are here. Ask us anything. Anything at all?
They're done hearing me on my soapbox. So
Do y'all feel like this is achievable? Let me ask y'all some questions. Do you feel like Senior Ruby is achievable? And if you don't, I want to know what you feel is a stop sign or a roadblock in your way. I want to know why you think you can't achieve Senior Ruby. Everyone thinks they're like, no problem. They're totally going to hit Senior Ruby. Okay. I'm looking.
I have a question about the points. Like, I just, maybe it's just something I need to overcome, but I only like, or really push my team to order 100 PV if I'm trying to rank up. Like, I feel like I'm bothering them, like, but I know I need to probably get out of that mindset, because and then if I notice like 2 months in a row they're ordering under 100 PV, I go straight to them and I ask them what their regimen is. Because if they're really taking all those products they're telling me, then they should be ordering more. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I need help with that for sure.
So I think what's hard,
don't order every month.
I think what's hard is knowing that you want to rank up and not focusing on points. Like there's kind of like this weird kind of like, I want points, but I want you to be successful, but I want points, but I want you to be successful. And I do think it's a constant dance. I think if you can, and I know Elizabeth's business enough to say, I think for you, duplication of what you do down your team will prevent that. I think one of the biggest struggles that you have, and I don't know about other people on here, but I'm guessing someone that will listen to this at some point has it, is Elizabeth recruits most of her team herself. So she's a massive amount. I'm not even sure if she knows how many level one. Do you know how many level ones you have? Yeah, they're in the hundreds. She definitely has surpassed me in 5 years. She has surpassed me in 1 year and what I've done in 5 years in level ones.
No way.
I don't have 100 level ones. And
I know, and it's hard to keep up with them. Like, it's hard for me to, like we talked about, those personal relationships. That is key. And it's so hard because I'm a mom of 3 kids. I work full time and I have this huge team of level ones that I have to keep that personal relationship with, going, like the fire going,
I think for you, it's going to be a lot of vision casting and a lot of this is what's possible. If you want it and if you're willing to do the work, I will match your efforts. Ellen is always really good. I think Ellen and Julia kind of both talk about this. I will match your effort. You're going to give 20%, I'll give you 20%. You're going to give 75%, I'll give you 75%. But if you're going 110, dude, I will give you 110, but your efforts have to be shown. You have to be doing IPA. You have to be sending messages. You have to be adding customers. You have to be doing this out there.
And I even go after my team that doesn't even want to work the business. Like, I want to keep them happy, because I need them. Like, I'm not going to make it to Senior Ruby without them, so I got to keep them happy,
But you might. So here's the goal. The goal would be to recruit someone that wants to do what you do and wants to be at your level. And then you're not always fighting for just one more person. You're really growing a team of duplication, because I really think you're never going to be comfortable at a jewel level at Emerald, Sapphire, and Diamond if you feel like you're constantly trying to keep like your ducks from like scattering away. Like you're literally like you have 1,000 pieces of paper and you were trying to keep the wind from blowing them away, instead of like going, okay, you have a rock on top of you and that's a team, and you have a rock on top of you and that's a team, and so you're not going anywhere and you're not going anywhere. And until you really grow 12 level ones to silver, and those people have people under them go silver, and then those 12 level ones eventually go gold, I think it'll be really, really hard for all of you. And I'm not saying 12 is the magic number. I think I have 4, 5, 6, I have about 7 legs that are solid. I have 4 jewel legs, a senior ruby leg, a ruby leg, and then a senior gold leg. And I think those are solid. And so if I could challenge y'all anything, it would be to have some solid legs that aren't going anywhere. I think that will make you feel more secure. And so, Elizabeth, my challenge to you would be, if you don't have them already, go after business builders. It is so easy for some people, recruiters, to go after numbers because numbers are so easy for them. But I see my top recruiters company-wide have the hardest time growing leaders because they're so busy getting those numbers in. I think numbers are important. Don't get me wrong. I think that, adding 3 or 6 in a month is great. But when you start getting like Francesca, where you're getting up into the 20s, she now has 21 level ones that she has to try to get to silver. That's a lot of launches. That's a lot of love. That's a lot of hand holding. That's a lot. So if you have smaller numbers of, I'm talking like not going super small, I'm going 3 to 6 in a month, and you are the people that wanted the business, wanted to share, were willing to do the things. Everybody else goes in as a preferred customer or comes in as a wholesale customer. And I'm not worried about whether or not you like your products, and that's about it. I just think it has to go back to, are you developing silvers underneath you? And
if they want to work the business, a lot of them, I want to try the products first. And I ask everybody, can we do a Facebook post about the start of your new health and wellness journey? I will help, write it. I'm like, no,
ask them that, get that commitment before you sign them up. Have them commit to the post before you sign them up.
Oh.
Okay. I think sometimes recruiters are scared, and a lot of us have recruiters on our team, so you can kind of identify if you have someone that's really great at recruiting but has a hard time developing leaders, is they don't want to ever not have the sale. They don't ever want to not have the ad, so they're willing to kind of like soft sell it as much as possible so that person will sign up. That's why I probably have very few recruits, is because every single person I recruit, I say, okay, are you going to post? I'm putting you in my team page. I'm expecting this of you. There's a call tonight. There's a launch happening. And if those aren't the things you want to do, I'd really prefer you be a preferred customer. Because for me, it is not worth it to try to keep up with a wholesale customer that doesn't really want it. And I realize my business is in a different place than most of y'all. So most of y'all are just trying to get in as many numbers as possible. But I think it's important that you don't soft sell. And that's a lot of what that Brooke Hemingway call that Kelly alluded to, or at least what I've heard Brooke say in the past, is pre-qualify people. Like, these are the expectations. I'm expecting you to be on it for 90 days. I'm expecting you to order this the entire 90 days. I'm expecting you. And if those aren't the expectations you want, I think you should be a customer. Because until you're ready to meet those expectations of, I'm willing to post, I'm willing to take the products for 90 days, I'm willing to stay on the triplex, I'm willing to take it every day and drink my water and walk, 500 more steps now than I did before, whatever it looks like. Unless you're willing to ask for those expectations, you're going to constantly get people that will always under deliver what your expectations are of them. Okay, it's 9:45. I'm going to go, but if y'all have any questions, I know none of y'all are my level ones. If you want to ask me something, I would ask you that you just include all the people in between us so they can learn too. So like if Kelly is in between us, you include Kelly and I in a message, so that if there's an answer that I have that maybe Kelly doesn't, or which isn't probably possible because we have access to the same corporate people, but that person can learn. I can answer questions all day long, but then I'm missing whole gaps of people that aren't learning the answers or learning how to kind of troubleshoot and talk through. So that's it. I hope y'all have a great night, and I will get this edited and cut down and post it just as soon as possible. So hope y'all have a great night. Thank you so much, Christy and Kelly, for doing this call. Y'all were amazing. I can't wait to write down all your notes. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.